or if you really enjoy playing things like Doom, Duke Nukem, and let's say Metroid, like the earlier versions on Quake, you're gonna absolutely love playing Serious Sam, right? So, developed by Crow Team, a small little Croatian, I think it's Croatian or Russian studio, um, in the early 2000s and 90s, 2000s. Serious Sam: The First and Second Encounters came out um, to universal acclaim and reception, great reception. I never played these, so I started off playing what was called Serious Sam: The Next Encounter, which is a sort of spin-off game that follows the original formula, but it's like its own separate game developed by Climax with the assistance of Crow Team. But I've recently been playing the first game on and off stream. If you haven't watched my streams, by the way, you should definitely watch them because they're always lit. But playing the first game on and off stream, I should have played it a long time ago. Now, granted, I haven't been on PC for that long. I think I've been playing PC gaming like for about a year, or yeah, I think it's a year, maybe two. But I wasn't really fond of the idea of using a keyboard and mouse to run around and shoot things. I was more used to the controller, like FPS, like Call of Duty style, like LT to aim, RT to shoot, R1, R2 for grenades and stuff. But Serious Sam I think it was one of the first games I played on this PC that I'm currently using, alongside obviously COD and whatnot. Excuse my noise, my sniffles, by the way. For some reason I have a really annoying cold out of the blue. Like I'm just sniffing a lot, so ignore that. But yeah, so I hopped onto Steam and I saw what was called the Serious Sam Classics Retribution, something like that. Retribution, Revolution, something like that. Where it was the first and second encounter with their like original feel and looks to them, and they're just kind of bundled together along with a DLC pack called Bright Island. I'm still playing the first one. I think I'm nearing the end. I think I'm like 1 or 2 levels away from finishing that game, but it's so fun. It's so fun. So I'm gonna explain it for a couple of minutes and tell you my like do's and don'ts for the game, what I do enjoy, and things I don't really understand about the game. But I'm not gonna go into like the story or anything because it's literally just a shoot 'em up. Like the first and second encounter to me are just shoot 'em ups. There is loads of lore involved in the Serious Sam universe, but when I get around to playing the second encounter, the third game, Serious Sam 4, and then maybe the spin-offs like the next encounter or whatnot, I'll try and make a canonical timeline if I can, like a big project. But this is like my first video idea I've had in like 3 weeks, so please bear with me on that. But the game itself resembles like Doom, Duke Nukem, the games I mentioned earlier, like Quake, where you are placed in the middle of nowhere with an arsenal of weapons ranging from grenade launchers to Colts to shotguns to laser cannons and cannonballs. Right, you have a whole arsenal. A whole arsenal of weapons available to you, and you play as Serious Sam or Sam Stone if you want to be lore specific and all that shit. But you play as Serious Sam, and your job is to basically stop the evil demon devil, like the big boss man known as Mental, who basically is responsible for every enemy that spawns on you in the game. So the enemy variation is really good, especially in the first game. From what I've seen anyway, the first game, I think the enemies are really cool. So you have things like the clears, these like skeleton horses that just come at you charging. Same with these big wereballs with massive horns and whatnot. Then you have biomech mages, arachnoids, kamikazes, headless guys with grenades on their hands. Then you can hear their screams from a mile away, so you're always prepared for that. And things like lava golems and big bosses as well. It's just, it throws it all in there, and on the harder difficulties, it's going to test your reaction time and your speed, really, because Serious Sam has been notorious for being a walking backwards game. So if you get to a certain point in the game and you hit a checkpoint, enemies will spawn on you, like around you, and you can hear like audio cues and whatnot to see where they are, and you can see like guns flying and like their bullets flying and all that. But most times, if it's not showing in my gameplay, it will definitely be showing when you play the game. You're either walking backwards or walking away from an enemy, going the other way to where you're supposed to go. So Serious Sam, like the first game that so far anyway, likes to do this thing where you have to go through 2 different little subterranes in the main level to open up a door to get to the end of the level. So it's kind of like a little puzzle thing, which is basically just like drawing out the game time and letting you kill more things. But the amount of times I've gone into a room, seen an army of clears or wereballs or biomech mages and had to walk backwards while firing, because going in a straight line, trying to walk forward in a Serious Sam game is like the worst mistake of your life. Like, especially when the game does this a lot, and I really love the game for this. There'll be points where you've just had a massive bloodfest on your hands, you've killed every enemy, you've got your ammo back and whatnot. Then you walk forward and it's dead silent for a couple of minutes. It's just silent and quiet. And then bang, a whole army of kamikazes, a whole army of wereballs, clears, Gnar, marsh stompers, anything you can imagine, any enemy in the game just runs, just comes at you quick and fast. And I'm playing on easy mode in the gameplay you're seeing now, just because I wanted to play the game for the first time on a difficulty that I can just shoot things and breeze through the game just to get a feel of the game. And then when I go back to like do achievement hunting and whatnot, I'll play on more serious difficulty. That's a joke in there for you. But the point still stands. Even on the hard difficulties, you're still going to have to walk backwards and fire at will, which I would say is a bad thing, but it's not, because it's kind of annoying, yeah, because you might have to backtrack a little bit just to even kill the enemies in front of you, and then you have to walk even further. But I think that adds fun to the game, because Serious Sam, as I mentioned, is just a shoot 'em up. It's just clashing constantly. You have to kill things, and if you're walking in a straight line, like if you're holding W and pressing the left mouse button on a laser cannon, fair enough, I do that a few times and it's satisfying because the laser cannon is really strong. It's a really good weapon. But when you get a whole army of different variations of enemies, you can't just stand still. That's the point of these shoot 'em up games, like Doom, for example. Even the old ones and even the newer versions of the Doom remakes and whatnot, you're always like dodging left and right, shooting enemies. And Serious Sam has a great feature as well, where it integrates an auto aim system, especially for consoles, because I'm playing a PC, like the original PC version of a game that got ported to console, and it has the same gimmicks where there's a crosshair in the middle of the screen. I'm sure you'll see it in the gameplay, and for each weapon it's like it's centered exactly in the middle of the screen, but if you look at an enemy, even if you're like a couple of pixels like left and right, it has an auto aim system, so you can shoot one way and it will still hit the enemy. So for example, with the rocket launcher, I found that if you, as long as the actual like crosshair itself turns green, because like it's like an enemy health system, so if you aim at an enemy, it goes from green to yellow to red, dead. So if I see like a lava golem in the distance, get a cannonball, and once I see the green on the screen, just fire, and the rocket launcher just fire, and then I can walk onto the next enemy, because the path is the bullet spread and path is at a trajectory where you can just aim one way and it will hit it, and then you can go again. So like for example with strafing, for a rocket launcher, you go from, say if it's white and it goes green straight away, I tend to fire while walking left or right, because then the rocket will go exactly where I've aimed, and it won't like go left or right, like say in Call of Duty where you fire an RPG and you aim straight forward, but it might like dip to the left or the right a little bit because of its speed and its recoil. Serious Sam doesn't have a problem with recoil. I think the guns are really satisfying to use. The one gun I don't like, is the shotgun. Mainly the pump action. The double barrel's good, but the pump action at the start of the game I didn't really use that much, which might be a preference for me. But the Tommy gun's really satisfying. But like the one problem I don't get with this game, I think it's something I don't understand yet, but there are certain enemies that are weak to certain guns and enemies that are stronger against certain guns, if that makes sense. So for example, with things like lava golems, I found that a cannonball, like one cannonball kills them, like, or two if it's like a big boss. Biomech mages, grenade launchers or rocket launchers for them, I think it's 2 grenade launchers on a biomech major for that one. Arachnoids, I tend to use the laser cannon, but I don't know if that's good or not, because some enemies just get disintegrated from whatever gun I'm using, and then others just tend to like disappear, and they just have infinite health. Like the clears are really easy. It's just wait for them to charge, and then when their backs turn to you, double barrel shotgun, weak spot, kills them. The wereballs are a tricky one. I think the cannonball works for the wereballs because they're running at you with such speed that if you fire a cannonball, it will just tear through them. Which I've heard that if you do that in the HD remake of these games, like of the first encounter, the cannonball actually splits the enemy in half, and you can see all of his guts and whatnot on the floor, which is a bit gruesome, but it's a shoot 'em up, and I'm here to see things get absolutely battered, so I will take it. But in terms of like the game and the level design, I really like the Egyptian theme of the first encounter. Like most of the levels in the first encounter have all been in Egypt, but you go into like the Valley of Sphinxes, Tomb of Ramses III. You go into what's it called? I forget what it's called, but you go to like all these ancient cities that are real life representations of ancient Egyptian landmarks and whatnot, and it's such fun. Especially like, I don't know if you noticed it in the video, but some of the skyboxes are really nice. Like, I'll probably put a screenshot on the screen now of what it's like in the night time, in some of the like night stages. It's just space, and as a space nerd, I really enjoy that. But all in all, I think Serious Sam is a great game, and I just wanted to ramble on about it. If you haven't played it, go and play it. I will leave a download page to the Steam version that I own. If you're on PC, it doesn't exist on console like Xbox and PlayStation and whatnot. Apparently, it's on Switch as well, which is cool. Haven't tried that, but if anyone's willing, let me know. But other than that, it's my first video in like 3 weeks. So let me know what your thoughts are in this in the comment section below. Subscribe if you are new. We're pushing for 200 by the end of the year. We're already on 180, so that's quite a start. But thank you again for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I've been Cardona. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and peace out.